Let's talk for a moment about today's full moon in Pisces, the super moon at 7 degrees of Pisces, and it is a super blue moon. So blue moon is, we have this saying that once in a blue moon, something will happen. So it's definitely one of those energies where it talks about rarity, talks about and carries within this energy of something happening or something needing to happen that doesn't happen very often or doesn't come around too often. So I don't know about you guys, but personally, I've had a very challenging, we'll say, past 7 to 10 days, we'll say approximately. Um, it has not been easy. The energies have been really hard on me, and I'm sure they've been hard on you as well. And what I personally found was that these energies have been bringing up a lot of our pre-programmed childhood issues and certain layers of those false programs that are now really ready to be released because we've had this time of um, it's like this period of time of transmutation. We've had this time to really heal some of these core childhood wounds and some of these false perceptions and beliefs about ourselves, about our worthiness, about who we are as a whole. There has been a lot of those themes personally for me coming up, and I wanted to share them because I know it is a collective energy that is we're all going through this huge purging cycle. We're all experiencing this huge need to release those past burdens, those things that we have really just come to accept, those comfort zones, those bad habits and negative ways of thinking and pessimism and depression and sadness and heaviness within our hearts. There is this I kept getting just feeling like layers and layers and layers of that peeling back throughout the last 7 to 10 days. And like I said, it's been really challenging because on one day I would feel really good and really feeling energized and I was extremely productive with my projects this past 7 to 10 days. But then there were other times where I would just really start to feel like, imposter syndrome would kick in and just not feeling like I was good enough, not feeling like I was worthy of receiving good things and just having this really intense tug of war within myself. And so if you've been experiencing that, then just know that we are truly transcending these old patterns, these layers within ourselves, within our emotional world that have been holding us hostage, that have been holding us dormant and preventing us from becoming this full, beautiful, expressive version of ourselves. And I know I wasn't even able to like post anything like for the last 5 days. I literally couldn't even sit down to make a video. I was not in the right headspace. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel good enough. Like I said, imposter syndrome was like kicking in really hard for me this past week. And it was just challenging me on so many levels. And I just didn't feel like I had anything to offer. And it was terrible because deep down within myself, I knew that wasn't true. And I knew that that is absolutely not who I am. Like I have so much to offer. But again, as these layers are coming up within us, they're definitely wanting to fall away. They're coming up so that we can see them, so that you can understand where you're still stuck and how you're still stuck and what emotions and heaviness you still carry within yourself. There's also been this theme of just remembering like certain patterns that we have with our parents or our siblings or different people in our lives and like how we relate to them or how much we want to people please or do things or be in that pattern, or maybe the pattern came up for you this week of like how much you used to care what your parents thought, and you really wanted them to be proud of you and to be happy for you. And now as that's coming up and you're kind of busting through your own ceiling, those imaginary ceilings that our parents unfortunately put there for us through their behavior, just through who they are, those are what are now cracking and breaking and completely crumbling down. And it's so hard, and it can be such an emotional roller coaster. It could really throw you into this. For me, it was like depression, but not even depression, just like a deep sadness and a deep feeling of not being able to love myself, like not, just almost reverting back to that old pattern of unworthiness. It's like you got to go right back into those energies and into those feelings and into those sort of core cell memories within yourself in order to purge them out. And that going back in part has been the challenge, has really kicked my ass this week. Like yesterday, I 100% was at my lowest point, and I could feel as the moon was getting bigger and bigger this week, and like through the last 5 days, I could just feel myself moving through this process of like intensity, and it was getting more and more intense every single day, and it was becoming more and more challenging. And those feelings, those negative feelings and those negative thoughts and those patterns and ways of thinking were really intensifying for me throughout the last 5 days or so. And yesterday was sort of when I kind of plateaued out. And I've also been extremely exhausted, like really tired, feeling really, really tired throughout these last probably 5 days, actually. Which is why I wasn't in any capacity, in any shape or form, to really be able to provide guidance to other people, because I just needed to sit with myself. I needed to provide that guidance for myself. I needed to allow myself to just feel like it was okay to not be okay, because I haven't felt okay. And that can be really hard to admit sometimes, and I think we really judge, and I know I was doing it. I was really judging myself on those days when I wasn't okay, because some days I was feeling great, and then, like I said, I immersed myself in other projects and made good headway with those. But then there was other days, like yesterday, where I just crashed emotionally, and I felt so tired. I couldn't even function. I could barely get food on the table. Like I just had to lay down and take a nap in the afternoon. And my dreams actually also have been extremely crazy. I've been writing pages and pages, describing these vivid dreams that I've been having, and they were all actually having to do with my personal peeling back the onion and shedding these layers of old self. So I just want to encourage you to be really gentle with yourself today. Be very kind to yourself today, because you have been moving through, just like I have, a very deep transformative process. And this has been very challenging. It has been exhausting. It has really taken a little bit of the wind out of our sails this week, simply because you can feel so tired after such a massive shed, after such a huge purging process, and then judging yourself for that tiredness, and judging yourself because you're not able to, get off the couch or do whatever you got to do on some days. And it's wrong. And I recognize and I see how wrong that is, and how much I need to just stay kind and loving to myself. And the other thing that really helped me, of course, was meditation. And I've been meditating, but even my meditations have been more challenging this week. Like I wasn't able to kind of get into it as much as I wanted to. Like every time like these layers would come, I would want to just sort of meditate them away, and it wasn't working. And it wasn't working because I needed to see it. I needed to face it. I needed to like look this stuff in the eye and be really honest with myself of like how much of negative programming was still sort of buried beneath, and how much was still there. And whatever was still there, it wasn't about the quantity, but more of just the quality of what was there. And I had to look at it, and I encourage you to look at it. Whatever is coming up for you right now, just look at it, and don't try to push it away. Or, sure, yes, getting into meditation is good, but sometimes you really just got to sit with your shit. Like you really just have to be able to face it and see it and look at it and feel, the way that you're feeling, and accept how you're feeling. Because if you don't, then, you know, even like sometimes trying to meditate something away, I realized this week is like spiritual bypassing. That's me trying to run from it instead of facing it and looking at it head on. And I don't want to do that. I genuinely want to heal all parts of myself, and especially the buried parts of myself. And if there's a certain energy, or if there's a moon that is amplifying that energy within me and is pushing it to the surface with intensity, then shouldn't I be looking at it instead of trying to meditate it away, or instead of trying to, positive think it away? Positive thinking doesn't work, by the way, guys. Like, in the sense that you can't just force yourself to think positive things when you feel like absolute shit. You can't. You have to be willing to sit with those feelings and ask yourself, where is this coming from right now? And what part of me and what part of my inner child do I need to nurture right now and love and support in whatever way I can? Because maybe that's exactly what I just need to do. And maybe I need to sit here and cry and rub my own shoulders and hug myself and comfort myself, because that is what spirit wants me to do. It's what spirit is encouraging me to do, no matter how hard it is. And sometimes it can be really hard to be that person, that rock for yourself all the time, because we need external support, we need external love, and we want to feel like we are nurtured by other people. But sometimes other people can't necessarily provide you the type of nurturing that you need. They can provide other types of nurturing, but perhaps not exactly what you need in that moment. And when there isn't anyone around to give you the type of nurturing that you need, then you must give it to yourself. Because if you don't give it to you and nobody else gives it to you, then you're going to sit there with your cup empty and you're just going to feel terrible. So I encourage you today with this full moon to allow yourself to sit with whatever feelings want to surface. Allow yourself to just be in the moment, be present with yourself, be present with your feelings, be present with your thoughts. Whatever is coming to the surface, allow it, observe it, look at it, and ask yourself, why do I stop myself from doing certain things that I know would be good for me? Or why do I shun those parts of myself that are not perfect, that are not, ideal, or that are not, beautiful in my ego's eyes? And can I just accept them? And can I look at them not through my ego today, but through my heart? And can I open my heart to myself and to my healing and to this difficult journey and process that I have been on? And can I just allow myself to be proud of that, and to be proud of how far I've come and how much I have changed and how much I have gone through? These are the questions that I'm asking myself today, and I'm presenting them so that you can ask yourself today, because it is truly a rare blue moon today, and it is truly a super moon, meaning that it's very close to the planet. It's going to be huge. It was huge in the sky last night. And this moon brings us an opportunity for profound healing and for a profound release. And the biggest release that you need to do and I need to do right now is to release ourselves from our own bondage, from our own judgments, from our own misconceptions and false beliefs that we have had about ourselves that have been planted there a really long time ago. So I'm encouraging you today, my friend, to release and to let go of those heavy, burdensome things. Surrender them to God and just release them and say, I give this to you with my whole heart. I surrender it to you. I don't know what to do with it, so I'm going to give it to you, and I will allow you to process it, to move it through me in the best way that you see fit. Because God always has our best and our highest interest at heart, which is always to learn how to love ourselves, how to nurture ourselves, how to give to ourselves, how to choose love for ourselves through taking right action, through doing the things that will truly fulfill our hearts and our souls. So I will leave you with that message today. And I hope that you have an absolutely auspicious, beautiful blue moon at 7 degrees Pisces, which is a very emotional, very spiritual, highly intelligent sign. Allow Pisces, allow your emotions to come forth, to be seen by the world. And know that you don't need to be perfect to be worthy. You simply need to see yourself as worthy, the way that God sees you as worthy. And that's it. And your life will transform. So thank you for watching. And I will see you guys in the next one.